Okay, I'm really lucky to have Armin, who is one of the owners of Flysurfer here, and this is a chance for us to do a really deep delve into the detail of the new Flysurfer POW. Now, Armin, thanks so much for talking here, and I think it's fair to say that the Flysurfer POW is arguably one of the most anticipated parawings to come to the market. So I'd like to ask you, first of all, what was the concept behind the POW? What did you want to achieve in this parawing?
Yeah, we've been playing around some years ago already with this kind of concepts, and then the market was starting to adapting it. I mean, there have been this pop-out wings before already, and then it was taking off with foiling. And so we also try to make better than just a downwind wing, that you can also go upwind quite easy. And I think it is very important that this parawings will get better, because if it's only for downwinding, it's not enough. So it was the target to try to make it better.
Okay, so this is a product that's not just for downwinding.
Yeah.
You say it's designed to help you go upwind as well. So what are the performance characteristics? What are the design characteristics that allow it to do both?
We've got a lot of experience with the foil kites, and other brands already tried our peak to make it on short lines, but we was using our knowledge to make it perfectly for this very short bridles. You can use a different canopy and adapt it, but it's better if the canopy is adapted to the radius and all the tension that the performance get where it should be, stability, depower, relaunchability, and all these points.
Yeah. So you've just mentioned the word relaunchability, and I think we'll get back to that later, because for me, I've now used the POW two different sizes over the last couple of days. So I'm not an expert by any means just from using it twice, but it's given me a chance to get a feel of its characteristics. And one of the things that impressed me the most was its relaunchability. But before we get to that, I just want to grab the bar, because at the moment we're talking about the design, and it has what I think is a very unique bridle system here. So what's the idea behind this, the two middle, you've got four sort of bridle lines, and the two middle ones.
Limited amount of bridles, the canopy shape is a bit less, so the performance will be less. So it has like our other kites, A, B, C, and brake lines, one level more. And this is a bit adjustable, that you can have different setups on it. And also the nose is pointed upwards, backwards, that if you have got all the bridles here, that it doesn't tangle too easy, so that it flips a bit easier off, and so slides off a bit easier.
Okay, so what I noticed when I was using it yesterday, that the first time I was using it, because I'm used to a straight bar, I was trying to hold it like this, and it felt really sort of, it wasn't very nice. But it didn't take me long before I realized that you just look at it, the way that it's designed, and if you hold it sort of like this, rather than trying to overlap, it gives you an incredibly large amount of control and precision with that control. And it really impressed me. It not only became super comfortable, but gave me more control out of any other bar that I've used with much better comfort. So for me, this is a really, really big deal. I'm so impressed with that.
Okay.
Tell me more about this bit here. Can you move it?
You can move it, you can easily open the Velcro here, and then you can move it a bit forward or a bit backwards. It's how much, if you move it forward, then you're working more with the brake lines.
Okay.
And also when you open it and you move it backwards, then you change more the angle of attack and work a bit less with the brake lines. It makes it a little bit more stable, gets a little bit shorter, but I think it's...
So if you move this towards the back of the bar, essentially you are increasing its low end because you're sort of depowering it.
It's the low end you increase by shortening the brake lines usually, and if you push it forward, I think you increase a bit the low end. This goes a little bit better upwind, because then the airfoil is a bit flatter and a bit less on the brake lines.
Right.
So, but I would not move it too much. It's just a slightly adjustment.
Okay, so that's something that people can play around with, and adjustability to suit their riding style and what they're doing with it. I think that's a really nice feature. Okay, so let's move towards this water relaunchability, because I've already put a tiny post on Instagram because I was so impressed with this is the only parawing that I've been able to reverse relaunch off the water. It's almost like the material that you've used, it just wants to come off the water. Yes, when we went out there the second time, I was crashing the wing on purpose to try and get some footage of it. But in a real life situation, 4 times out of 5 that I crashed, it literally just came up off the water. Obviously, if the leading edge was facing up, no problem, as per normal. But if the leading edge hit the water first, it wasn't like I had to do it instantly. I actually had time to be able to pull on the back, and then it just almost magically came up, reversed off the water, just enough for me to flip. And yet, most of the time, it's not it wasn't a completely smooth flip. The wingtip hit the water, and again, most of the time I was able to get it over fully to relaunch. And I feel like that's something that with practice, I'll be able to master and do it properly, rather than the sort of, it's early stages for me. I'm still learning. But I think, so what have you done? How is that possible? Where everybody else, well, to my knowledge, no other parawings can do that. What have you done? Are you willing to divulge the secrets of what makes that happen?
We have just a lot of experience with building foil kites, and relaunchability is also with normal kites a very big point, if it's a double skin or single skin. And so it's very important to have the knowledge. And I think also the bar stick is long enough, especially with the smaller ones, when you sheet in, that you can fly it backwards.
Right.
So, I mean, at this level you've got full power already. So if you go over, you sheet it backwards, and here you go for full D-power, and then you've got not enough range to bring it backwards. And but also with the peak and everything, we've got not enough knowledge that it's as relaunchable as possible. You have some people who can, for 98% relaunch a single skin peak from the water. I can't do that. It's also a question of the skills and how you drop it and how to handle it. But
Right. Have I missed anything? Is there anything else that you want to point out in terms of its design or its performance characteristics that make this product stand out from the others?
I think it's very important to have as big as possible power-depower range, because you can't loop it. That's one of the points. The wing itself should be as stable as possible, that they don't start collapsing or flapping when it gets gusty. It should turn as nice as possible, as direct as possible, even when you depower or power up, that you can turn it properly with you together. And here you can also somehow keep it in the stall point that when you go downwind or make a jibe, it also flies nicely. And I still think it's just the beginning of a new sport, which will be exciting. I think you've seen Theo at the Davy Wind, which was first allowed to go against the wings. And then they realized, fuck, he was fast, and then he disqualified him.
Oh, man. So that was with a twin skin, though, wasn't it?
It's a double skin.
Yeah,
exactly,
double skin. I mean, like you say, this is just the beginning. The future is just, it's so bright. I can't tell you. And this product for me, I haven't tested them all, but out of the ones that I've tested, this feels so refined. It doesn't feel like a first version, a first attempt. I was so impressed with the wind range. I would say it's right up there with the best wind range that I've encountered in a proper parawing. It was super stable at the top end, but the bottom end was incredible. It had really, and I used the 2.5 meter and the 4 meter. I was super impressed with the bottom end, but when you get to the top end, it's still really controllable. You've got that, I think maybe because of the bar and the bridles, everything about it. It wasn't like, so when I was properly overpowered, I was being pulled over the handlebars, but no product outside of its usable range is going to perform. So well done. I think you've literally knocked it out of the park with your first version. And
I'm very proud about my team. I mean, Theo is now joining full on the development. He was racing before, and now we've got even more development power, and we've got a great team. Which is a lot of fun to work together and pushing boundaries.
So that's the race. You're taking the race scene very seriously. This
not
is
only, we also do now the big air. We had the Woo wing and the kites. We are leading the competition. So very proud about my team, and
I can imagine.
We try to push all the areas also with the inflatables. and also with the wings that we have. So I'm very happy about that.
I'm sure you have good reason to be. But specifically for the parawings themselves, this is aimed towards the leisure, the recreational user.
Yeah.
Any plans that you care to share with us now for how you see this sector of the sport developing? Is it going to head more towards the pure downwinding or more towards the general use or surfing or?
I think it has to be more than just pure downwinding. Otherwise, it's just a niche market.
Right.
And it's very interesting to explore what is possible, what we're doing at the moment. It's like Theo was trying to double skin how fast we can go. Okay, I didn't expect that we can go faster than the wingers. And so for sure, this has a bit longer bridle lines, no flying lines, bridle lines. So it's less easy to catch it and take it down. But if you don't do downwinding, then the towing in is maybe not that important. But for tagging, that it gets easy like winging, that would be also a nice achievement, I think. And yeah, we'll see what comes next. We have some different ideas what could come next. I mean, it's all between, it's like a kite on short lines. It's also like a wing somehow.
Yeah.
We also have this parakite, which is for flaring, which is flying in the air like a bit like a paraglider. So it's very interesting. And over 10 years already with my parakite, it was 23 square meters on. It's like a parawing, but just only 2 handles to steer it. Was also flying on a surfboard. So there's, for light wind, what we can do that it goes even earlier.
Yeah.
And winging is already great in light wind. At the beginning, we also didn't expect that it happens.
Well, when we look back at the start of winging, or even go back further to the start of kite surfing, the development since they began, when you consider that this is the first proper year, okay, we're probably entering into the second year. I mean, that what the future holds, it's just unbelievable what you know, the possibilities.
I think now the development goes a lot faster. There's a lot more knowledge
really is
for some
going
brands.
fast, yeah.
So it will be a lot faster development in a few years. We're getting very good. In the beginning, it took some years to make kiteboarding coming close to what it is. How long does it took to get a proper depowering kite?
That's very true, yeah.
So
you've learned from all those different disciplines over the years, yeah. I'm loving the innovation, and thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me about this. I think there'll be so many people out there who'll be really interested to hear what you've just been saying. So thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much.
Cheers. Okay.
It's a pleasure.